my 15 years, I mean, we met like some of the greatest thinkers in terms of people in education. People have done so much research on how kids learn, what are the skills required for the 21st century. And when you look at what kids kind of struggle with today, we're still teaching them the same way we did 30 years ago. Are we really equipping our children to be successful in a world that they don't know and we don't know? The top 10 jobs this year did not even exist 10 years ago. So what does that mean? I mean, it means that we really don't know what our children are getting ready for. So information that they kind of learn in a textbook or what they learn academically, yes, is important. But is it enough? Is it going to ensure that they are confident, they're successful when they grow up? No, I don't think so. And I didn't want that for my children. Thinkstations are unlike any other kind of learning center or a tutorial. They're very, very focused on developing 21st century skills that are essential for children to be successful not only academically but in life. And we don't like to call them anything other than, we don't like call them learning centers or tutorials, we really call them development centers because they're really focused on developing essential skills for success. What are 21st century skills? There's been a lot of research globally as well as in India looking at what really makes people successful in life. And while academics seems to kind of form a base in today's environment where the world is constantly changing, we're really kind of getting kids ready for a world that we don't know. We're getting them to kind of get ready to use technologies that haven't been kind of invented, and they're going to solve problems that today we don't know are problems. So what does it, what will make them successful? What will make them kind of stand out? It's really their ability to critically think, to comprehend, take in new information, make sense of it, and think out of the box. The way they communicate, the way they collaborate, the way they are able to think creatively is really what's going to make them stand out from the rest. Based on research done by a number of very large companies, research professors, some very large institutions in the US, companies like Apple and Microsoft, it is shown that to build an overall 21st century kind of a solution in education, we need to look at skills over and above our core subject skills. And they kind of identified the 4 C's, which is really creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. In a world where we're going to have a lot more new things, new technologies, new areas of business, it's going to become more and more important for children to learn how to collaborate. We interviewed CEOs and it was clearly showed that every CEO said, what made me successful was my ability to think out of the box, my ability to analyze data, my ability to lead effectively, my ability to be creative, my ability to collaborate and make things happen. Yeah. These are clearly things that our children are not learning. The biggest educators in the US, in the UK, all around the world, and they completely kind of understand that these skills are important and need to be addressed. I mean, there's a huge difference even now in terms of independent thinking, communication with children in the US or the UK versus our children here. And I think it's important for us to kind of build institutions, build places where our children can come and kind of build these skills so that they are more successful and more confident. That's one thing I really believe is when people say, oh, they're unable to communicate, they're not even able to write an email. It's not only the language skills. It is the inability to kind of structure their thoughts and put it in a format in which you can understand the flow of thought. And you cannot structure your thoughts unless you can master the concept, unless you can comprehend. When you're able to comprehend, then you're able to kind of put all of that in your own words. Yes, language skills are important. Your ability and control of language is important. But equally important is your ability to understand the concept and then put it in your own words. So they kind of go hand in hand. 7 to 14 are very critical years. They are the founding years. I think what's really important is if you build these skills between 7 to 14, they kind of become inherent and innate. So you don't really have to try to think. You don't have to try to communicate. You don't have to try to work in a team. They all happen naturally. So I think it's really about making it a part of their personality, and I think these are the years in which you can do it. What's really special about the program is, while we did kind of work with experts in education, we went a little further. We worked and spoke to psychologists, sociologists. We worked with people in industry, and we looked at how the business environment was, even artists, even directors, and looked at what it takes for kids to be successful. Thinkstation, we have 2 modules. Each of them is as important. The comprehend module is a base module, because if you cannot comprehend, if you cannot make sense of information you hear, read, visually see, you are not going to be able to then communicate it forward. You're not going to be able to be a very active member in a team that actually adds value. You're not going to be able to kind of think out of the box, because you're not don't analyze the box properly. So really comprehension is that base or the foundation that helps children kind of get to building the other 21st century skills. There's been a lot of research that even kids, when they fall back academically, it's really comprehension that's kind of pulling them back. And what happens is, when they are unable to comprehend what they read or listen to in the classroom, they start depending on rote. And rote is really, kind of memorization of a string of words, and really that make no sense. And since they don't, at some point, that's going to get out of their memory. The second module is Explore, and I think that's a really, really powerful module. Explore, what we do is we give children difficult scenarios, we give them difficult problems that they kind of need to work through. They need to think, they need to understand the concept. What makes it powerful is, once they can answer this question using, various aids. We give them, access to the internet, we give them books, they can read stuff, but they work as a team. They're able to kind of come up with the answer together. Every Explore has a leader. Every child has a chance to lead. Every child has to learn how to work as a team. The second part, where they need to kind of then present it back, that's where they struggle. Because here, they need to take what they know, structure it in a cohesive manner, and then present it back. We all live as a part of a community, and while we collaborate at work and we collaborate in school, it's equally important to kind of look at, building and working in a community. And I think here the issues of ethics, values really come in. And in the Indian curriculum right now, and I know there's a lot of talk about adding it, we don't really teach children ethics and values. What we try to do in the Thinkstation is we try to kind of build it in our Comprehend module. We have them in the passages. We have a lot of moral stories. We have a lot of cultural stories. We talk about the environment. And in Explore, what we're trying to do is certain Explores focus on certain values or the environment, so that children are sensitized to these issues, work together and become better human beings, really. And being better human beings, they're also happier. We paid a lot of attention on the environment that we create in the Thinkstations. It's very friendly. The space is open. children can move around. There are no classrooms. We train our mentors to be guides and not to instruct, which is really critical because we want our children to be independent, to find the answer for themselves, and the ability. And when they do, they are motivated and they are happy. And the environment around is all about empowered children. And we want to create an environment where they're able to feel empowered, they're able to feel happy, they're able to feel independent, and that's when really learning happens. Building skills like communication and collaborative skills, as well as kind of encouraging curiosity and creativity, requires a little more focused attention, and it's very difficult to create in an environment where you have one teacher to 40 children. We have worked on the most effective, and this is based on a lot of discussions with educational experts, on what would be the most effective ratio. So we have 7 children to a mentor. This gives children enough opportunity to think independently and on their own, yet there are enough mentors to give them that attention to ensure the skills are being developed. What do you think made you successful? Or what do you think held you back? Would you like to empower your children with all the skills that you felt would make them successful in life?